Hey, Great Figure Man here, welcome to another behind the scenes with a scene video. Today I've got for you the Son Gohan figure and this. Since I'm on medical leave at the moment, I've been going for quite a few walks and I happened to stumble across this gachapon. This is a 1/12 scale school desk and chair, and it made me think of the early Dragonballz movies where it generally always start off with Kid Gohan sitting in his room, studying, dreaming of adventure and training and being with his father and Piccolo and so forth. So I thought I would do a very simple image that requires minimal editing. Try and set up a chair and table in the middle with Gohan on it with a pure white background. So there's no editing involved, just very simple, clean photo. And then maybe have a sort of a daydreaming, not speech bubble, what's it called? The thought bubble. And inside that we'll do another photo at this stage I'm thinking we'll have Gohan flying on the Nimbus. With a nice simple blue sky background. So again, two very simple images that don't need much editing. All we have to do is take one clean image with the item, with the chairs and Gohan, and then one clean image of him flying on the Nimbus, and then just combine them in Photoshop. So yeah, what I'll do first, I'll set this up, see what it looks like, and we'll take the base image. Okay, so we have all the bits here now. It's essentially a little wee mini model kit set. All the different parts here on the runners. So we've got the main frame for the desk, the top of the table, the base of the table, the chair and so forth. So I might go grab some snippers and we'll throw this together and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got the chair and table made up now, and then yeah, it was nice and easy. The instructions are clear even if you don't speak Japanese. Each runner is labelled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then it shows each part from the runner. There's 1 and 2.1, 2.2, etc. And each of the runners is labelled as well with the numbers, so this is runner 5. So really easy. I just used the model clippers to cut them off the runners and it worked really well. I guess if you wanted to spend a bit more time, you can go through and kind of sand up the areas and get it a bit neater and tidier, which is something I might do in the future, but for now I think this should work really well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up this mess and grab Gohan, and we'll see if he fits on this table well and see what we can do. Okay, so I've got Gohan here sitting on the chair and table. As you can see, they actually scaled really well. It works really good with him. But one thing I noticed while setting him up is that this version of Gohan doesn't come with a happy or neutral face at all, which is actually kind of a shame. But what I thought I could do, have him, since I want it to be like a daydream, can kind of have him sleeping, so I thought maybe have him with his head down. And I also had a look through my accessory box and I found this cool manga, Lemonade Girl. Maybe a girl's manga, but that's fine. He's doing a bit of reading research. You can just, we'll fix him up in a moment. We can just put the manga book here, or in his hands, or down and have his head down. I'll try a few different positions and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've taken a test shot, which I'll chuck up on the screen now. Overall, I think the overall look of Gohan with the table is looking really good. You might be wondering how I'm doing the setup. I've got 3 lights, one on the left and right and one at the back, and I've just got a sheet in front to diffuse the light to make it softer. By doing this and having it close to a subject, then I'll get a pure white background without doing any editing. It's essentially my setup that I use for doing 360 images, since when there's 36 to 72 images you don't want to be editing them all. So yeah, so that's the lazy way of giving a nice pure white background. And I'm trying to think about the balancing for the image. If Gohan's smack bang in the middle when we do his thought bubble with his other image, the balance might be a bit off. So I'll do a couple of images once we get the final layout set up. We'll have them in the center. Then I'll do one with them more off to the left and right. That way we have some options when we set up the final image. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch out his hands and try a few different positions with him holding the book, looking down and so forth, and see if we can try and get him sleeping on the table as well. Okay, so I've managed to angle Gohan just enough leaning forward and his arms in a position to hold the book, and his head's angled down just enough that you can't really see his expression, but you can see just enough of his eyes to get a bit more of a detail in there instead of just being on his bowl cut. I've gone with a bowl cut here just because I feel like it's the most suitable one for when he was studying. You can kind of imagine Chi-Chi in the background nagging him at the moment. He was sitting on the chair pretty well, but just to make sure he didn't slip off when I was moving him around, I did put a little bit of blue tack underneath his ass. It's just helping him keep on the seat. But yeah, overall it's working really good, so I'm going to take a few photos now, and then we'll switch out and do one of him flying on Nimbus. Okay, so by the power of not recording, I've got Gohan set up here now with the Nimbus. You might recognise the background. That's actually the Sakura tree skyline that I used in the April calendar image, actually, yeah, with the androids. So each image I do print out, I kind of keep aside just in case I need to use it in the future. And it's come in handy, so it's working out to be a perfect sky for Gohan. I went with this one with the pink just to give it a little bit extra colour, since the main image is going to be all white. And it should blend in nicely with the rest of the background as well. I've got Gohan set up here about, I don't know, about 40 centimeters away from the background. Just on a single stand here. I did tighten out the screws so it doesn't flop around. I decided to go with Gohan with his long hair. It's kind of like he's daydreaming of fun days in the past when he was out adventuring. So I've also attached the pole as well from Goku. And he's just got the Dragon Radar there to help push the story forward that he's on an adventure looking for Dragonballs. The first image, since I wanted Gohan on the table sort of isolated with lots of background, I just used a wide angle lens. However, this time, since it's going to be a close-up image of Gohan, I'm using a macro lens to really focus in on just Gohan, and then to have a nice smooth blurred out background. For lighting for this one, I've just got one light directly in front of Gohan with a softbox, just to give him a nice soft lighting overall, and just one extra light on the side here to come in through the back, kind of like a key light. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the photo, then we'll jump on the computer and combine them into one cool image in Photoshop. Okay, so on the computer now, I've got all the images loaded up in Photoshop. Starting with the first image here, we've got Gohan with his book. This one I've got him on the left hand side of the image on an angle, and then the second image just directly in the middle looking straight on. This was the original layout, but for when we have the other image, it might not be enough space or it might be a bit too one-sided. So I did the second image with more to the left and on the angle. I'll probably do a mock-up of both of them, and then we'll pick which one's better at the end. This image needs a little bit of a touch-up on the bottom left here, so we'll do that shortly. I've also got the image of Gohan on the Nimbus, which looks really cool. For this one, we just have to Photoshop out the stand here. And then there's 1, 2 different speech thought bubbles that I just found from Google, just some PNG files. I'm not sure which one we'll use in the final image, but we'll get the base layout set up first. Okay, so first things first, we got to fix up this image here. Okay, sorry about that. It seems that my recording cut off halfway through. As we left off, I was just touching out the bottom left of this image. So just using the clone tool, just removed that in about 1 second. The second image is all nice and clean, so it's no worries. So the editing is actually finished. I'll go through and explain what I've done now. So I've got 3 folders up the top here. So image 1 bubble, if I turn this on, we can see that we've got the nice thought bubble here with the image on the inside. If we open this up, we can see the different images in here. Let's turn them all off. So first up, we have the speech bubble. This one had the extra marks down here, but what I did, I selected them and copied them to a new layer and masked the old ones out. This is because the placement of these 3 bubbles wasn't exactly in a good location. It's kind of going down towards the chair. The next step was to bring in the image, place into the area that I wanted, and the correct sizing, and then using the magic lasso tool, I just went around the inside of the speech bubble quickly, and once the selection was made, selected the image and hit mask, and that automatically applied the correct masking for the image. And then there's the stand in here, which I just went through and used the clone tool to remove. If we switch over to image 2, and then the image 2 bubble is exactly the same. The process was done in the same manner. Then the next one was a test for image 1 with a larger bubble, and using the second style of bubble I had. Personally, I don't really like the look of this one. I much prefer the simplicity of the first bubble. So this is what I'm going to go with. I actually quite like both images, image 1 and 2, the styles. But if there's one that I had to pick, it would definitely be the image 1, just because it gives more balance to the image. If I wanted to use image 2, I'd probably have to give this one here a tighter crop, maybe a square crop, something along these lines. I think this would look quite good with a straight on one, which I might do as a separate image. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below which one is your favourite of the 2 images, image 1 or 2. I'll check them up on the screen now.